Welcome to EQ Conversations, the podcast that delves into the fascinating world of emotional intelligence and empathy, with your host, Dr. Rahim Lay. He will provide you with extraordinary content on these crucial aspects of human interaction and more. It's time to cultivate your emotional intelligence. Here's Dr. Lay.
Welcome to another episode of EQ Conversations, the podcast where we explore the depth of emotional intelligence and personal growth. I am your host, Dr. Lay, and in today's episode, we got a good one for you. Today, we're going to dive into the topic that forms the foundation of personal development, and that's self-awareness. And I know a lot of people may have heard the term self-awareness, but I will tell you in this episode of EQ Conversations, I want to discuss the importance of it, what it means to become self-aware, what kinds of skills you can apply to your life daily in order to improve your self-awareness. I myself have had my own personal experiences, and I can tell you by applying self-awareness to my daily life, I did see a lot of growth and a lot of change. And I didn't want to keep this to myself. I actually wanted to share this with other people. For those who don't know, I am a clinical therapist. I've been a clinical therapist for nearly 2 decades, working primarily with military families and individuals or military members. I decided to go with EQ Conversations and talk about the importance of emotional intelligence and empathy, because I realized in my own life that these types of skills were sorely lacking. Today, I also want to talk about how self-awareness can contribute to having better human relationships with those you love, people you work with, and also people when it comes to romantic relationships. Grab your pen, your paper, get to writing, take some notes. I hope that you come away from this episode learning a little bit more about emotional intelligence and the skill we talk about today, which is self-awareness, that you'll be able to apply these skills to your life. So to begin, let's first understand what self-awareness truly means. And what I want you to do is just imagine looking into a mirror that reflects not only your physical appearance, but also your thoughts, your emotions, and your motivation. Self-awareness is that deep reflection, I would say. An inner understanding of who you are, what drives you, and how you interact with the world around you. I would also say that developing self-awareness involves becoming attuned to your thoughts, your feelings, and behaviors in various situations. It's like shining a light on the intricate web of your inner self. That's the best way to describe it, I think. And by doing so, you gain valuable insight that can guide you towards personal growth, better decision making, and most importantly, improved relationships. Now, you might be wondering, how can I become more self-aware in my daily life? And the good news is that there are practical skills and techniques that you can apply every day to enhance your self-awareness. And when I say practical skills, ladies and gentlemen, when you hear these skills, you may think, oh my God, this is so easy, but when you're doing behavioral changes, as I had to do myself, I can tell you it's very tough to change behavior, because to change behavior, you will have to change beliefs. And I don't know if it's an American thing or just a people thing, but we don't really like change when we're settled in our ways. I would also tell you that when you are changing behavior and you're applying new skills, only then can you honestly say that you're educated. What do I mean by that? Well, I've always believed that education is not education if you don't apply what it is you're learning. We go through a lot of school. I've been through 11 years of education following high school. And I can be the first to tell you, I've learned a lot of different things, even throughout high school, college. But if I did not apply what I learned, I cannot say I'm educated in that. I can't say I'm educated in that. Most people would agree that the best education in this world is experience. That means you got to apply what it is you learned in order to have a different outcome. So we learn a lot throughout life, without a doubt. But I would argue if we're not applying it daily, no, we're not educated in that. So these techniques, although practical, you have to apply them every day in order to enhance your self-awareness. So let's go over some skills that I apply to my life every day. And in these skills, no, I'm not perfect with them, but I am so intentional. And by being intentional with it, I challenge the negative beliefs I actually had. Before we get into that skill, I think I want to clarify that when I say I challenge the negative beliefs I have. When we experience belief systems, when we utilize our belief systems every day to make decisions, informed decisions about our life, oftentimes those beliefs have to be validated in some way, shape, or form. And the more we validate that belief, the stronger that belief gets. Now, we validate through behavior. For instance, if I believe that I am not good enough, right? If I believe I'm not good enough, with whatever that may be, in order for that belief to actually stand strong, I have to validate it. So I may engage in behaviors every day that's going to validate that belief system. You following me? Which means the behaviors that I engage in are behaviors that's not going to be in my best interest. Now, the same can be said about changing a belief for positive. In order for that belief to stand, you're going to have to engage in certain behaviors to constantly validate that belief. Let me give you another example. When someone tells you that they are a believer of Christ, that they believe in Christianity, the dogma of Christianity, I think the Bible is clear when it tells its believers that you must practice certain behaviors as often, as much as you can. And by doing so, your belief gets stronger and stronger and stronger. What are some of those behaviors that Christians typically will practice? They read their Bible, prayer, pay their tithes, be around other church or other people who think like them, like-minded individuals. They follow the 10 Commandments, and the list goes on and on. But basically, what I'm saying is there's a big difference between a person who believe something and practice what they believe versus another who believes something without practice, without putting in the work. Eventually, the true colors are going to stand. They're going to show. So I may have went off the mark with that. We're giving examples and stuff, but when it comes to self-awareness, and we're about to go through a couple of skills, like I said, these are practical skills. I truly believe, just like I had to learn for myself, that you have to apply these skills every day. And the more you apply them, the more you enhance your self-awareness, change your beliefs, build your knowing identity. So one skill is journaling. Now, I know, I know some people are sitting there like, man, I've done journaling before. Man, I'm not talking about trying journal where you do it 2 weeks, 2 months. I'm talking about adopting journaling as a lifestyle. You see, by putting your thoughts and feelings onto paper, you create a safe space for self-reflection. I, I that just poured out of my mouth the word safe space because I am a Generation X baby. I was not a advocate, believe it or not, for a safe space. I just didn't understand it. I didn't understand it. I was ignorant to it. So it wasn't a part of my vocabulary before, but when you're able to put your thoughts and your feelings onto paper, you do create that time, that moment for present self-reflection. You might write about a challenging situation you encounter during the day, right? And you analyze your thoughts and your emotions surrounding it. Well, through journaling, you begin to recognize your patterns, triggers, and areas where you can improve your response. There's a funny thing about triggers too that I want the audience, the listeners to know. And you may already know this, but a trigger is not a trigger if you don't own the button. You may hear people say, man, they just know how to push my buttons or get up under my skin, things of that nature. But the button was there to protect you. It was a false sense of protection, but it was there. Nonetheless, it was there to protect you. And therefore, when someone pushes that button, they're going to get a certain reaction. And I think what self-reflection does is it doesn't focus on the trigger. It respects the trigger, but it doesn't give the trigger power. Instead, it looks at, well, why do I even own the button in the first place? Why did I put it there? What is it protecting? So although triggers are important, it's actually not the root. So journaling, it is a powerful tool for self-awareness and personal growth. It does offer various methods, and these methods, I would say, they cater to different preferences and needs. All right. So when we think of the traditional way of journaling, we're talking about putting pen to paper. Do you know that when you write down your thoughts and feelings, you engage in a process of externalizing your inner world? Hmm. Now, this act of translating your thoughts and your emotions into written words, it does help you gain clarity as well as perspective in so many different ways. And so by writing things down, you create a tangible record of your experiences and emotions. And I think that's a big deal. It's a big deal because it allows you to reflect on your thoughts in a structured manner. And that's one of the things that I find I found out the hard way for myself. I had no structure when processing. I rambled. I did a lot of different things that took me away from the true purpose of journaling. So when you see your thoughts on paper, it becomes easier to identify those patterns and those triggers and those reoccurring themes that I mentioned earlier. And so you may notice certain behaviors or thought patterns that arise consistently in specific situations. And so this self-reflection enables you to uncover underlying beliefs. We talked about beliefs, those fears, and motivations that influence your actions as well as your decisions. Journaling also, when you're writing things down, it helps you to detach from the intensity of the emotions. Another thing that I would do a lot, because it creates a space for introspection and analysis. It allows you to explore your feelings from a more objective standpoint. Right? It's like having a conversation with yourself where you can delve deep into your, the nuances of your inner world, so to speak. And this process helps you to develop a better understanding of yourself and promotes self-compassion. It also promotes acceptance. And moving forward with journaling, another method is creating audio scripts. Right? Some individuals find it more comfortable to express their concerns and uh, verbally rather than writing things down. Now, with the accessibility of smartphones, you can easily record your thoughts and feelings. You can use voice memos or any of those dedicated apps, right? But speaking your thoughts out loud can provide a sense of release, right? It really does allow you to process your emotions through verbal expression, um, and you gain insight just from hearing your own voice and tone. Another process, the one I like the most, is video journaling. Now, this has become increasingly popular in today's digital age. When it comes to video journaling, you know, I think you can find this across various social media platforms. And we're talking about your TikToks, your Twitch, your YouTube, your Facebook, etc. Right. And they offer a dynamic and visual way of documenting your experiences and emotions. That's why I really like it, I'll be honest. I like it because it allows me to capture not only my words, but also my facial expressions, my body language, my overall demeanor. I pay attention to those things. At the end of the week, I look at all 7 video journals. I just watch for things. I watch how I respond to certain words I say, especially when I'm talking about a certain experience. I do look for reoccurring themes, but it provides a holistic representation of my thoughts, my emotions. And what that does is it creates a more immersive and authentic journaling experience for me, and I encourage others, because there's a lot of people who are actually, if they get on these TikToks and they're expressing their feelings about something, they're actually doing video journal. Now, having said that, I don't know, when using these certain platforms, that it's creating a safe space. I think it mutters, it waters the line, or mutters the line, whatever how you say that. Um, so when I do my video journaling, it's just me. Nobody's in here. It's just me. It's not for the world either. It's for my growth. But some people are doing it without them even knowing it. So when it comes to journaling, it's just important to aim. You really have to aim for specificity. Instead of vague statements such as, like, yeah, I feel like, or I feel that. It's just beneficial to name and describe your feelings. But you can do that by using the statement I feel. Just tell, say what you feel. I feel hurt. I feel discouraged. I feel manipulated. When you get into that habit, if I feel like this is da, 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 or I feel that this is da, 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 you're still thinking. But when you say I feel and say exactly how you feel, that type of practice, it really helps you to connect with your emotions on a deeper level because you're articulating your emotions directly. You gain a clear understanding of how you truly feel and why. It also allows you to bypass surface level assessments, right? You bypass that, you get to the root of your emotions, facilitating greater self awareness as well as personal growth. So just remember, journaling is a personal journey, and there is no one size that fits all approach. Please get that out your mind. Do not think that one way can be applied to everybody because it can't. So, whether you choose a pen and paper, audio scripts, or video journaling, the key is to find a method that resonates with you. Experiment with different techniques. Like I said, I started out writing. I did audio a couple of times, but video just sits with me. It's just better for me. So I encourage you to find your own and see which one, enables you to express yourself authentically. You know, you express yourself and you uncover valuable insights about yourself. Because it's when journaling does take place, at least from my experience and what I've heard from many others who have tried it, it really serves as a pathway to self-discovery. It actually serves as a pathway to self-reflection and my favorite, self-compassion. To my listeners, I want you to embrace the power of journaling as a means to enhance your own self-awareness and embark on a transformative journey of personal growth. Right. So that is my spill on journaling. Again, effective tool. I apply it regardless of if I'm tired, regardless of the fact if I don't feel like it kind of thing. I let discipline take its course. And this is something that I value and I said that I will follow through with daily. Another skill I follow through with now more than ever before when it comes to self-awareness is my ability to actively listen. But many others, I first came about when it when they talk about active listening. I was told that I suck at that. You know, um, surprisingly, not in therapy sessions, but I would say, even though my mind shifts when it comes when I'm in sessions and things of that nature, but outside of that, active listening is truly a skill. It's a viable skill that can significantly enhance your ability, to connect with others and understand them on a deeper level. And so, with active listening, I just want to break down some steps you can take to apply active listening to your conversations. Right. The first step, and this again, personal experiences, is remove distractions. Removing your distractions. When you engage in a conversation, it's just crucial to create a conducive environment by removing all distractions. So this means putting away your phone, closing unnecessary tabs on your computer, or finding a quiet space where you can focus solely on the person you're speaking with. By eliminating those distractions, you signal your commitment to giving them your undivided attention. Now, I've personally learned the importance of removing distractions the hard way. Um, True story. I recall one of my coworkers coming in to talk to me. I was in a leadership position at the time, but coming to talk to me about a serious situation they were dealing with. But see, a person like myself, I used to believe that multitasking was a valuable skill, but I realized that it hindered my ability to truly listen. And multitasking really, uh, I don't, I do not see that as a viable skill anymore. And I don't see that as a valuable skill anymore. And so if you're someone who does multitask, it is impossible, absolutely impossible for you to actively listen to someone. But I had an individual who was in my office literally telling me about something that they were going through. They can read my body language, they can tell I wasn't really focused in, and they just up and left. Or better yet, they cut, I mean, not, I don't want to be dramatic on this. They cut the conversation short. I didn't pick up on it right away. You know how I found out that it was more to the story, if you will? It's because that individual went and talked to somebody who gave them the time and attention and really heard what they had to say and asked them to relay that information to me. And I was the one in the leadership position. That taught me a valuable skill. So I just want you to imagine having a conversation with a friend or coworker who is sharing a challenging situation they're facing. And instead of trying to multitask by checking your emails or scrolling through social media, I want you to make a conscious choice to be fully present with them. Put aside any external distractions and focus on actively listening to their words, observing their nonverbal, cues and empathizing with their emotions. And so what did I start doing after that experience? Well, if anybody, even when I wasn't in a leadership position, if anybody wanted my attention, I put everything away. I pulled my cat card. I was military. Military, excuse me. I am military still, but um, we have an ID card, cat card that we use in the computers. That's how we log on or whatever. But I will now pull my cat card out of the computer. I literally will put it back on my little tag. I will look directly at them. I even stopped rocking back and forth. I would just be still and be attentive. I will listen to every word, comprehend every word. You know what that helped me to do? It helped my memory. I didn't forget the conversation. I don't forget conversations. The other thing it helped me to do too, my follow-up skills improved. I will circle back with that individual intentionally. So, active listening is a unique skill. It is an important skill. And I do challenge all my listeners to apply this skill to your everyday life. Whether you're at work, whether you're with your spouse, whether you're with your children, whether you're with friends, apply that skill. Give them your undivided attention. Look at the social cues, the nonverbal cues, and empathize with their emotions. Watch what happens. Step 2, the ability to cultivate understanding. I specifically like this one because I do believe that understanding is a fundamental aspect of active listening. I believe that because it goes beyond simply hearing someone's words, it really does involve a genuine effort to comprehend their thoughts, emotions, and perspectives. And by understanding or looking at understanding, when you cultivate understanding, it's a bridge that connects you with others. And you know what? The connections are more meaningful. It's more meaningful. So understanding at its core, it means grasping the essence of what someone is communicating. It involves stepping into their shoes, seeing the world from their point of view, and recognizing the validity of their experiences. All right. So when you strive to understand, you acknowledge the uniqueness of their perspective. And as a result of doing that, it actually suspends your own personal judgment. So understanding is important because it allows us to connect at a deeper level with others, as well as ourselves, by the way. With understanding, you do promote empathy. And as I stated earlier, compassion, but most importantly, open-mindedness. When we actively seek to understand others, we create a safe space for them to express themselves genuinely. There's that word again. It comes to mind. It is genuinely a safe space. So this not only strengthens our relationships, but also facilitates personal growth. And I would even argue mutual respect, something that each of us require in our lives from other people. So when we cultivate understanding, we acknowledge that everyone's experience and emotions are valid. Simple. We also recognize that our own perspective may be limited and that there is much to learn from others. So by embracing understanding, we expand our worldview. We also challenge our biases, and we foster a sense of unity in an increasingly diverse and interconnected world. So, to my listeners, in your conversations, remember to remove distractions, right? Just remove them. Give your undivided attention so that you'll be able to cultivate a genuine understanding of others. And by practicing active listening, you not only deepen your connection, but also demonstrate your respect and appreciation for the individual you interact with. And with that skills, you will start to see the growth of your EQ, the impact you have in your relationships, the meaningful connections you have with people. And I believe at the end of the day, although people will say, money and technology make this world go round, but I'm old school. I still believe people make this world go round. And emotional intelligence will help you connect better with people. That's all I got for you today. Thank you for joining us. If this is your first time, thank you for joining me on EQ Conversations as we explore the power of active listening and understanding. And by incorporating these skills into your daily interaction, you can transform your relationships and create a more empathetic and compassionate world. Till next time, people.
Thank you for tuning in to EQ Conversations with Dr. Rahim Lay and embarking on this transformative journey with us. Stay tuned for upcoming episodes where we'll dive deeper into the fascinating world of emotional intelligence and empathy. Until next time, remember to be kind to yourself and others, and always strive to cultivate your emotional intelligence.